Hi guys, it's Luton here. I'm back on Damavand Peak. Now you remember we already had another Damavand this week which went bad. This is another random public game. Just me, nobody else that I know. I think Fireman jumps in here at some point, but other than that, don't know any of these guys playing. I didn't know what stage the game was at, and it's not 100% game. That's the other point. You can see right here the attacker's got 109, and this gameplay had already been going on for about half an hour, so they've done about 15 minutes per base up to this point. Message of the day, just have fun. That's always a good note to make. I'm running with the assault class here. I'm just literally going to be doing some defending around the base here. And, you know, I don't really know what stage the game is at here. I've got nobody to talk to, nobody to communicate, so I literally just got to try and estimate what's happening. We've only got the BM-com left. That is not good on this base because the BM-com is probably very easy to get compared to the A one. Although from an attacking point of view, it is always worthwhile taking A first on this base and then going for B. The reason, A is really hard if you have a good defending team in there to get, because it's close quarters, it's dark, they can hide in all sorts of corners, they can drop stuff down. Not doing very well here with the long range AEK, but make up for it in about 5 seconds here where we move up onto Bravo. And I tell you what as well, I maybe didn't do very well there at range with the AK, but later on I definitely make up for it. Okay, clear those guys, get the defuse. Now, I didn't really know, again, which way this is going to go. We got 99 tickets left. That's a long time to wear down to defend this base, but we'll see what happens. And as I say, I'm trying to get a feel. My first point of call thinking in this process right here was that they were coming down from here. They've probably got a recon point down, so I'm trying to identify or at least search this area, trying to find people. I always say that you want to try and there we go. We can see the guys coming here. Where the hell did he come from? No idea. Just on me, but he's a recon, so they got a recon point here for sure. Got to go find it. And you know, I always say don't, you know, go too far away from the MCOMs. It's true, but like in anything, it's not set in stone. All right, you have to be adaptable to a situation. So in some cases, all right, it's going to be warranted that you move away from an MCOM. But again, it depends. Like if the whole of the rest of your team. Just watch him at this, like, no, still failed on that guy. If the whole of the rest of your team are kind of around the MCOM area, and you can see we've got some guys here, there's a support guy on the left to be there, they're all trying to stay around that MCOM area, so we've got some support there. Don't need to worry too much unless they make a big push. And I get the feeling that they're trying to kind of bleed in from different areas around the objective right here. So for that reason, it's worthwhile taking it. And here we are, like, one of my teammates, he's fireman, I think, just found the respawn from the recon right there, so it's worth taking the time. Now we've cleared that, we can kind of, you know, keep focusing this area. This guy up here, that's a weird position to be in, and here we go, look, we've got a whole 3-person squad right here. Should have changed out faster on my pistol right there. Screwed that up majorly. I think I was panicking because I was going for the reload, but it didn't happen. I'll have to do some more videos soon with voice in game, because it's always a good one to kind of have on board and sort of compensate there, sort of hear what's happening. Okay, so did I spawn defusing there? I think I spawned and was defusing as I spawned. Okay. My guys managed to clear that out, so good job. Bit of teamwork going on here. A lot more teamwork happening in this game than the game that we had the other day, and it's worth pointing out that this was on the same server at the same time, which shows yet again the other thing is teamwork. Like I've said before, you know, it's worthwhile having teamwork. You got some people close to the objective, some people are clearing this area out around here, generally sort of acquiring targets and getting down on them. So, you know, it's whenever you play a game, you can't have a set game plan, you have to feel it out, and at the moment these guys are kind of occupying this area up here. Now, two ways to look at it. Alright, two real choices here. I don't know what that guy's doing up there far on the left. That's a little bit too far away for my liking. But we have two sort of real ways of doing this. We either have to stay near the objective and try and keep that locked down, or we have to continually sort of clear this area out in order to sort of keep these guys locked down. Can barely see this guy here, and he's in all this infrastructure as well, making it really difficult to get any hits on him. So yeah, you can see at the moment the enemy are coming in. They're not making like a hard push. They're coming in 1s and 2s. So really the idea in keeping this area secure, and you can see we're kind of working to keep this area locked down. If we allow them to get set up here with recon points, sniper points, it could make our job a lot harder, because if we allow them to get kind of entrenched up on this hill right here, or up on where I am right now up here, they're going to be able to fire down consistently on our position, and that's going to make it much more difficult. So by constantly clearing it out and moving back around the area, being fluid, moving around, and you can see here, look, there we go, there's a sniper up on the hill, and that's where the guys are coming down from. So again, they're up and around this area. We need to kind of try and manage, control this area if we want the game to be successful. The difficulty with doing that is, if you're, I mean, looking at the minimap right here, we can see kind of people generally around the area, but if we go too far away and they suddenly make a quick push, that's the danger. That's why it's always best to try and stay near the MCOM, but as I say, it's not always viable. I'm trying to find where this sniper was, because from the respawn cam I couldn't see where he was. But I'll be sure to find him in a mo. But again, looking how many people we've got around the MCOM area, we've got like 3, 4, 5, 6 guys generally in this area. We got one guy LMG support line prone there by the containers, and he is sort of keeping a close eye on it. I feel fairly confident as well at kind of moving around this area, just checking the scoreboard there, seeing how many players we've got in the game. And I feel fairly confident at this point. How did look at this guy? Did they not see him under there? Weird. I feel fairly confident to move around because a couple of our team members at the Mo have defused already. So again, I feel more confident than I would in some games that they are capable of actually doing it themselves, whereas often people don't go for the defuse at all. The fact that it's been armed and defused by some of my guys, and the fact that some of my team members are staying in the area, makes me feel more confident to move around, look around. And often when I play, that's what I would do. There's our sniper. He's hiding up here above this thing. Got multiple hit markers on him there, with the AK at quite extreme range. But I wanted to put this video in here because I think it shows a good balance compared to the game I had previously, where it was such a steamroll. It's interesting to note. It's also interesting to note that in this game, which is not 100... Oh, there we go, got a nice kill on that sniper. Idiot that he didn't move. I don't know whether he was trying to find me or whether or what he was doing there, but if you start taking fire like that, the first thing you want to do is move, but he obviously was not going to. Now you can see here now, look, they're dropping some smoke, they're making a harder push. They're coming over here from this infrastructure on my left, so they're making a bit more of an aggressive push forward. This is a good time, you know, when you start sort of hearing it, you start seeing some of your guys drop down, it's worth sort of closing that net, coming back down, keeping it generally secure. We've got problems with the helicopter as well. I think that's something as well that they didn't really optimize on. They didn't use a helicopter from the beginning. A helicopter is such a strong tool, and you know, they haven't really been dropping. Here we go. Look. They haven't really been dropping people off on top of the roof above A, which is often what people do in this game. They'll drop people off down here and set up on that roof above us. That obviously makes it very difficult. So the attacking team not playing very sensibly here. Very unusually actually, sort of taking the wider route into the base, and they're coming in 1s and 2s, making it very easy for us to manage. So this is a good sort of perspective to look at from an attacker, you know, what not to do. I think that sniper up there, he gets taken down again. I think that sniper was using a helicopter to put himself up there, selfishly wasting the helicopters. Perhaps goes in part some way to explaining why they have not been using the helicopters so much, if people like him are just constantly wasting the helicopters for their own ends, basically. This guy right here sort of staring me in the face. But as I say, it's good to sort of, you know, think of these games as well, to sort of see what goes wrong. Even when you're on a high ticket count server, it's not always a guaranteed win when you have sort of players waiting. Here they go, going for the attack again. So they've got people coming in here. Goddamn respawn defense. Invincible respawn, protecting that guy for a second right there. I'm not too sure how I feel about the whole invincible respawn thing. I get the reason for it, but sometimes it's very frustrating when you should be able to get a legitimate kill when it's just like 1 or 2 people spawning. I had a problem the other day with this, where this guy spawned and I had a good shot on him. It wasn't like I was just hip firing into a big group of people. He was right there, I had a good line on him, I put a clip in him, and he just stayed still and obviously just took it. And and then of course, you know, just as I was sort of changing up, he moved away, and I didn't, you know, he just moved away. I'm never sure what to feel about that. It's frustrating, but I can understand the reason. It's probably best to have it than not, but you just find those situations sometimes are very irritating. So we're coming up towards the end here. They're still dropping smoke. That's a good thing to do. They're dropping paratroops in right here. And to be honest, that's something they really should have been doing from the beginning. It makes a big difference. They got a full team here, but again, where are they? I think this shows again about sort of, you know, lack of willingness to move forward, lack of willingness to get in on the objective. They obviously took that AMCOM pretty quickly, but then they've kind of stalled here and not really made any kind of constructive effort to move in. So we're having quite a sort of sedate attacking period right here. Don't feel particularly overwhelmed. We're kind of managing people coming in, and this shows again why when you're in an attacking position I often say just push forward, push fast, throw yourself in there, get stuck in on the objective. And if you don't do that, this is what can happen. People come in sort of squads of 3 or 4, and you know, it's funny, I find, when people are saying things like, oh yeah, my team sucked so I had to sort of do everything, blah blah blah. It's just not going to happen. How are you going to do that? How are you going to get in on this base which is so locked down as one person? It's never going to happen. You're going to be able to do that. You need your team to work with you to sort of move in on the base, help clear. You need pilots above, guys locking it down, and if you don't have that, it's just not going to happen. You can see what's happening now. They're finally starting to get on this rooftop, but they're down on 36 tickets. It's getting a very fine line right here. Got 2 helicopters in finally. This is really what you would have expected to see from the beginning there, but again I have the feeling that with a couple of those snipers up on the hill there, they were wasting the resources of the team by wasting those helicopters. I'm trying to sort of just get in around these buildings here, make sure this area is clear. We've got guys like this dropping off the roof. And you know, when you have snipers like that just picking up helis, dropping them just so that they can get to their sniping positions, honestly it's a massive waste. It's just I was just checking this back area here because I saw a mark drop up, little birds taking me down. But yeah, as I say, it's a big waste of time to sort of, you know, waste your resources like that. Helicopters finally starting to be a bit of a problem for us, so I'm going to have to sort of identify that. You know, we're down on 30 tickets. 30 tickets is more than plenty for them to actually take this base, so I'm going to want to sort of neutralize the helicopter so that they can, you know, this guy, look, he's just hovering above the base right here. And we want to make sure that these guys go down so that they don't be a continued problem. Well, the last thing we want to happen is them acting as a mobile spawn point, just sitting right above the base. Got him disabled. He's got repair teams, and we know that repair teams can be a pain in the ass. But luckily one of my teammates gets a second hit on him. It's not going to happen at this range. Okay, pulling back onto the objective now that thing is taken out. So again, just really, this is a much slower pace of defense game than the other one, and I thought this was an interesting episode to post, mainly because of the difference. The fact that it is a much slower, more considered, and it's a good example to show the difference. Remember that other game that we played where the team were just all over the bases constantly? There was just so many people all the time that you couldn't deal with them. You didn't know where to turn to. They had everything on us all the time. And what this episode is really about is showing what will happen if you as an attacking on your team sit back too long. If you sit back with a sniper too long, especially when you're attacking, it just doesn't work. Again, you know, I rarely snipe. There are so few videos where I snipe, and the videos I do snipe in, it's usually because my team is so strong they don't really need me up there. That's the difference. Okay, if you're in a situation like this where your team clearly needs you on the ground, then you need to make that choice. I would like to point out, there is nothing wrong with being a sniper or a support player as an attacking team if the rest of your team are clearly strong enough to handle the situation, and you're thinking, well, okay, what you're going to be doing then is picking people off here and there, which is an irritation in itself. It could be a good distraction. At the very least, it's going to be beneficial to your team just by dropping some extra players. But if you're in a game like this where they clearly need extra help, you know, they're getting a beating on the ground from the whole team, and they need those bodies on the floor, they need those guys on the ground to actually get into the base here, deal with it, and take the objective. And that's a really key point, is that that's why I'm showing this video today. It's quite slow pace. We've just been steadily clearing the enemy. Nothing particularly hard. My team is working well to kind of cover the whole base. You know, we have enough people that are disciplined enough that they're staying close to the base, and enough people that are, you know, adventuring around the area to lock people down. And look at this teamwork here, both of us focusing that helicopter so they can't even get in on the area, because we identified already, okay, the helicopters are being brought in now, they're actually starting to use them. Now we need to start dealing with those. And this is just it's a good video because it's a good example of how it can be when you have a team that's not really pushing enough, and you have a defending team that are very careful to sort of cover an area and deal with the problems as they arise. Now again, look at this, where did these guys come from? Managed to stealth in here, perhaps jumped off that roof and came in from the back side. But again, we got enough people close enough that we can actually get back on the objective. And unlike that game the other day which I played, look at this. As soon as I went to disarm right there, I had a teammate who was also coming in to disarm. Again, not somebody I know, just random players. Look, we've still got what, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people very close on the objective here. They're not pushing for kills. Got a second armor here. Another. The reason I dropped a grenade in there, C4. I'd seen they dropped C4, so I was putting a grenade in there to clear that out. They were arming and dropping C4 to try and prevent that. A bit of a crazy rush at the end, which often happens, and then after this we went into the domineering round. So you can see the difference, the way that these things play out. I hope it's been an interesting one. It's a bit of a slower gameplay, but I think there's a lot of key points to sort of think about, take on board here. If you're attacking, make sure you push harder as a team. Don't weigh your team down by being a sniper if it's not necessary, like if it's just being there for the sake of you doing that. Defenders, make sure to push around as you can, but you need to keep some people tight on that objective. If you don't have some people close by, it's going to be wide open. They're going to steal it off of you. Thanks for watching today, guys. If you enjoyed, drop it a like. I'll see you next time.